Right now, your teeth are slightly apart, your tongue resting behind them, your jaw settled into a position you never chose. You've held this pose millions of times without a thought, but your face is keeping score and the shape you'll wear at 50 is being decided in these unwatched seconds. Once you see what's behind it, you may never look in the mirror the same way again. Here's what's actually happening. Your face shape is not a fixed object you were handed at birth. It's a slow settlement between three things: bone, muscle, and fat. Every one of them is being rewritten by how you live. Some of that you can push on, some of it is pushing on you right now without asking. Start with the part you can move the fastest: fat. The amount of fat sitting in your face tracks almost exactly with the fat in the rest of your body. Lose weight and the cheeks flatten, the jaw sharpens, the whole face turns more angular. Gain it, and the face rounds and softens. People can guess your body mass index from a photo of your face alone, with nothing else to go on. Your face is a readout of your metabolism. And the level people rate as healthiest isn't the leanest one. It's the face with a little fat still on it, enough to look fed and alive rather than hollowed out. So the most reliable way to change your face shape isn't an exercise or a device, it's the number on the scale, and that one is yours to move. And there's a faster version of the same thing, one you can watch happen overnight. The puffier face staring back at you some mornings usually isn't fat, it's water. That's why the same person can look sharp one day and swollen the next without gaining an ounce. Hidden in that is the good news. It's the most reversible face shape change there is. Drink water, ease off the salt, sleep, and the real outline comes back within a day. But here's where it gets stranger, because the next lever pushes the opposite way from what everyone assumes is muscle. Along the back of your jaw sits the masseter, the muscle you use every time you bite down. For its size, it's one of the strongest in the body. And like any muscle, it grows when you work it. Clench through stress, grind your teeth at night, chew hard things all day, and the masseter thickens. When it thickens, the lower face widens, the jaw squares off. The face gets heavier at the bottom, not sharper, which brings us to the thing half the internet has wrong. There's a belief that chewing gum for hours will carve you a sharp, defined jawline. It won't. If it does anything, it does the reverse. It builds the very muscle that makes the face wider and more square, the opposite of the knife-edge look people are chasing. And when researchers actually tested it, running a group through weeks of gum chewing training in a controlled trial in 2024, they measured no change in masseter thickness and no change in the shape of the jaw at all. So if brute force doesn't sculpt a face, what about the gentle version everyone recommends? The face exercises, the so-called face yoga. Here the answer turns the other way. It works. A little. Middle-aged women who did 30 minutes of facial exercises, first daily and then every other day for 20 weeks, ended up looking younger to trained observers. Their average estimated age fell from 50.8 years to 48.1. Nearly 3 years measured rather than felt. The cheeks filled out and firmed. But notice what changed, not the bone. The muscle and the soft tissue lying on top of it, plumped and lifted like anything else you train. The scaffolding underneath never moved. Now, the biggest myth of all, millions of people believe that pressing your tongue against the roof of your mouth all day slowly reshapes the jaw and cheekbones. It's called mewing, after the British orthodontist who started pushing it in the 1970s. In adults, there is no peer-reviewed evidence it remodels bone at all. The sutures across the roof of your mouth, the seams that would have to move, fuse shut in your late teens. After that, tongue pressure won't part them. The dramatic before and afters are just jaw angling, camera height, and lost body fat wearing the costume of bone change. But the bone is not actually frozen, it just doesn't answer your tongue. Orthodontists can widen an adult's upper jaw for real, using screws anchored into the palate to force the two halves apart. On the scans, the suture down the middle of the mouth genuinely splits open, and fresh bone grows in to fill the gap. The skull can be pried wider even in your 30s. It just takes titanium and real force to do what a posture trend promises for free. The fantasy and the real version don't disagree about whether bone can change. They disagree about what it costs to make it move. Here's the beat. Nobody's selling a jaw trainer wants to sit with. Almost this entire industry runs on a single quiet promise that your face is a project and a better one is available to anyone with enough discipline. And we buy it because somewhere along the way, we agreed that a face shape is a kind of report card. A wide jaw reads as strength. A sharp jaw reads as self-control. A soft face reads as someone who let themselves go. We took the accidental architecture of a skull, the part of you decided by genes and time, and the fat you happen to carry, and turned it into a scoreboard for character. Lookism is the one prejudice we've quietly agreed to keep, because we've convinced ourselves the face was earned. And it's a scoreboard that keeps changing without your permission, which is the strangest fact of all. Your skull is not holding still. Over the decades, the openings around your eyes widen. By your 70s, the eye sockets have grown roughly 15 to 20% larger. The upper jaw loses height, shrinking by about a tenth. The whole facial skeleton slowly rotates backward and recedes, and the bone everyone treats as the fixed frame is the thing retreating first. Your face doesn't only sag with age, it's being unbuilt from underneath. The fat pads sliding down off a foundation that's pulling away beneath them, that's the layer you actually contend, even when the bone won't cooperate. The skin stretched over all of it is the one part whose condition you get a real vote on, day to day. Which is why the boring habit matters more than any jaw gadget, keeping the surface clean and properly hydrated so the face you do have reads as healthy rather than tired. It's the whole reason I use the Base Daily Skincare Duo, just a cleanser and a moisturizer. Nothing dramatic. The two simple steps that look after the surface of the story while everything underneath does what it was always going to do. So come back to your own face for a moment. The one doing nothing right now. Your tongue is still resting where it always rests. Your jaw has already settled back into its unthinking position. The scale, the clenching, the years, each is making small deposits into the shape you'll meet in the mirror a decade from now, most of them while you aren't washing. You can move a few of the levers. Fat if you're patient. Muscle, a little. The rest is bone and time, negotiating without you in the room. Have you ever pulled up a photo of yourself from 10 years ago and found you couldn't name exactly what was different? Only that something in the shape of your face had quietly moved? Tell me what you saw in it and how long it took you to notice. If you'd like to keep sitting with the strange machinery running underneath ordinary life, consider subscribing and stay a while.